Okay, the academy I learned from, the school fees at that moment was $325 for a month. All right, three for a month. Now, $325 then was about 185,000 naira then. But $325 right now is times 1529, 496,000 naira. That's approximately, let's say 496,000 naira. Let's not approximate it. This is how much it costs to learn for 1 month in the academy. So 1 month basically means after 1 month, your subscription expires and you need to resubscribe with $275. Now, I was not the only person who joined to learn how to trade Forex. I was not the only person that wanted to learn how to trade Forex. So I had plenty. You understand? Plenty persons. In fact, every single day, hundreds of persons joined that academy to learn how to trade Forex. That was during the pandemic. Everybody was actually like doing Forex. You understand? So your subscription fee is 420,000 naira. Right now, the academy still exists, but the school fees now is even more. I think the school fees now is $499 for a month. I don't know their new website's name. Okay. But that was actually what it was. Now, I was not the only person that learned how to trade first. I was not the only person that joined the academy. A lot of persons joined. They had different things to say. Oh, the educators are not good. No. Oh, the mentors are not trading. Oh, the people that involved me should not know anything about Forex. That's like implement things, you know. But I was always joining classes. In fact, they had up to like 30 different educators. I joined almost all the live sessions there. I always spend time on my laptop. Throughout the day, I'm on my laptop, back testing, studying, joining classes, learning, watching recorded trainings. I learned a lot of things, a lot of things. Now, of all the students who joined the academy to learn, many of them did not learn because look at this thing now. This is an academy, okay? There are people who actually spend 10 million naira a month. All right, so 10 million naira a semester in university to study engineering. You go to very expensive schools. There are people who actually, if you go to US, there are some schools where you pay 150 million naira a year, over 200 million naira a year in school for just school fees. And apart from that, too, you're also going to pay your rent, which is monthly. You're going to pay other things. Now, the fact that you spend 400 million naira does not guarantee you're going to be a very, very brilliant student, a very, very good or exceptional student. The educational materials are there, the courses are there, the signals are there, every single thing are there. The most work comes from the students because joining live sessions is from the students. Taking the signals that are being called out is from the students. Taking the exercises that are being given is from the students. Following the instructions, doing the assignments, every single thing of such is actually from the student. And if the student doesn't actually do all of these things, they're not actually going to get value. So that means basically someone can pay 400 million naira a year for 2 years master course in the US, or let's say, I don't know, based on the school actually, for both, I know school fees, accommodation, and all of those things. Let's say 400 million naira for 2 years master. And at the end of the day, the person can still not get a good grade. The person can still not get anything reasonable. The person can even still not even graduate self, despite paying this amount of money. So no matter how good the classes actually are, no matter how good every single thing actually are, depends on the person. Now it's a personal journey because when I started, a lot of persons also started with me too. There are most of persons that haven't started before myself, before they started referring people. And they were all gingered and hyped up and everything. But of all of us, I can say maybe only 1% of us are still trading. The remaining 99% have dropped out. They're probably doing other things. The rest have dropped out. They are no longer trading. The rest are not even trading themselves. They have dropped out. Do you understand? It's a personal journey. So if you join class and you see that, oh, it's just only you and one person that's in the class, that's okay. That's fine. Don't think about that. All right. Everybody's own path and trajectory is different. The amount of money we make in Forex is crazy. It's crazy. I love teaching a lot and I love giving value. Okay. And through teaching, I get to study. I get to invest more time into studying, into backtesting. All right. From teaching, I get to create new strategies, which benefits me too. Do you understand? You get. So that's why I love teaching. All the strategies I created, I actually had an academy or I was teaching. So the urge to give value to my students drove me to spend a lot of time with the chat. And that's what I'm really going to say helped me get to the level I actually am. If I was probably doing things on my own, I maybe wouldn't have actually been that motivated. I don't know. Do you understand? Right. So understand that this is a personal journey. Don't look at Lagbaja. Don't say, oh, it's just two of us on the call or just three persons on the call. Yeah, you can be one of those persons that before the end of this year would make 100 millionaire from trading. 100 millionaire is not much. Oh. How much? Just about 60K dollars. With 100K prop firm, if you make four successful withdrawals, you have made 60K dollars. That's 100 millionaire. You can be one of those students. You understand? So don't look at anybody. All right, we dropped signals this week. So far, we are on 100% accuracy. But I'm seeing not everybody are taking the signals. I think we'll have like 30 something students there. Not everybody. All right. But then there's someone that made almost 400K already in 2 weeks from copying the signals. So though people, some persons are there are not taking signals, but not even trading them themselves, there are people that are actually taking advantage of this thing and making money. So you should be one of those persons that are actually doing this. You should be one of those students who say, yeah, I want to do this on the long term. I'm going to join all the live sessions, take all the trades, all right, practice, do all the assignments I'm giving, and get the maximum value from this academy. At the end of the day, when you get to the point or December, once you're done withdrawing all your prop firm money and you're calculating that you're seeing 100 million naira or 60K dollars, and you go to buy a car of like 30 million naira out of the money. It's your personal money, not you and Coach Michael's money. You understand? So you like put so much effort into this because you know what you want to get from it. You know what you want to get from Forex money is very, very sweet. Honestly, trust me. Trust me. Forex money is very, very sweet. I don't leave the house. I'm usually indoors. I don't have to leave the house for anything. So let's continue from where we stopped yesterday. All right. This training I'm doing, they are all recorded and I've uploaded the first training and the second training on my YouTube channel. This third one, after this session, I'm going to drop the recording of the first, second, and third in the order at which we took the trainings on the group chat. Market dissection part one, market dissection part two, and we want to do market dissection part three. All right. So what I stopped at, I was talking about the reasons why the markets go up and go down. I've broken it down to individual currencies on the part one. Part two, I talked about what they call it, things that make currencies perform well. You understand? That's what I talked about. I talked about interest rate, GDP, gross domestic product, and all. Now, if you remember why Binance was banned in Nigeria, if you remember the period when Binance was banned because of something. All right. Now, Nigeria, we don't have much export. We don't have more, we don't have we import almost everything. So our GDP is very low. And if your imports If your import is greater than your, what is greater than sign? Greater than export, currency loses value. Let me give you this example. Okay. Imagine you have two friends. Hmm? One of them, her name is or one of them, his name is, or one of them, her name is Queen, and the other one, her name is Sandra. All right. You're a lady, you have two friends. One's name is Queen, one of them name is Sandra, right? So Queen and Sandra are your two friends. You're a lady, they're your girlfriends. Now, Queen is someone that is very, very ambitious. She's very, very result oriented. She works very, very hard. She's always on her grind, doing her personal business and everything. Anytime you talk with Queen, she's always talking about things like, motivational stuffs, always hyping you up, always like about the bag. So anytime you're with Queen, you're always getting value. All right. Okay. But anytime you gain gain something positive whenever you're with Queen. But anytime Sandra comes to visit you, she comes to your house, she come and collect your pepper, come and collect your tomato, she will borrow your wig, she will borrow your handbag, she will borrow your shoe, she will eat your food anyhow, take the meat from your pot, open your fridge, take chocolate, eat cornflakes, everything. So you're always losing something anytime you're with you're with Sandra. That's negative. Now, which of these two friends is going to be more valuable to you? Just drop in the chat box. Which of these two friends is going to be more valuable to you? Queen or Sandra? The one that adds something positive or the one that takes something away from you anytime you actually meet the person? It's going to be Queen, right? Good. That is the way it actually is when it comes to this world. All right. Every country, you cannot do everything yourself. Japan manufactures cars. They don't manufacture microchips. Okay. China manufacture clothes, bags, phones, gadgets. US manufactures this. You understand? Um, Saudi Arabia, crude oil. Okay. So the way it's designed now is that you focus on what you are good at, then you export that thing out for people. Now, you have Queen. Queen is a very good friend to you. She gives you value whenever you actually be her. And you too, in return, you also give her value too. You understand? So now it's more like an exchange of value. You understand? So because of it now, you people are good friends. So countries that actually have goods they export, they are Queen. And countries that don't have anything they export, they're just buying, 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 and buying, buying. They are Sandra. So the ones that have goods they export, the value of their currencies are good and strong. And the ones that don't have anything they're exporting and they're just importing, you understand? That is what this GDP actually is. All right. That's what is GDP actually. And that's why Naira loses value a lot because we import every single thing. So then during the peak of cryptocurrency, Binance buying coins on Binance was something that was very, very simple. Everybody actually bought things from outside the country, imports all these designs, play cars and everything, cars, millions of dollars and all of those things, well of cars. And they were just using cryptocurrency. All right, because normally for you to import, you need dollar, and dollar is not that readily available. So people cannot import anyhow. But with crypto, you can easily just import. So anybody can just get crypto from Binance, go and import. So the rate of importation was very, very high. And apart from that, too, all these politicians too are also using it too. to also embezzle money too. So once they get money now, they'll convert it to cryptocurrency. To convert it to cryptocurrency, which was further devaluing Naira. People are not actually keeping Naira anymore. People are just keeping crypto or keeping USDT. And that's why Naira was losing value. The moment they banned Binance, that stopped to an extent. And that was why Naira, that was as high as I think 1.8, I mean 1.9 then, 1.8 then, dropped to like 1.7. Then it dropped to like 1.27 then. So you just understand this is what we call Forex. So not just only does gross domestic product affect this thing, also employment rates. All right. Also employment rates. I explained interest rate the other time. Employment rates. Employment rate of people that are actually employed. In Nigeria, we have unemployment is like one of the highest in Nigeria. That's why we have a lot of persons doing fraud. Unemployment rate is very, very high in Nigeria. A lot of persons are actually unemployed. Now, do you know that actually states what that actually mean? If a country actually have a lot of youths unemployed, that basically means the labor force of the country are jobless. Now, these people now that are unemployed, these people can actually run factories. These people can actually work in factories producing things for goods for the country to export. But because we don't have anything we're exporting, because we don't have anything value we are giving people, we don't have anything we are creating ourselves, that's why this people are actually jobless. So this basically just shows that the country is not doing well. Because people that are meant to be working in factories to produce things for the country are not doing anything. They are unemployed because the country is constantly importing things. So unemployment rate is a very good indication of how a country is actually performing. And Nigeria unemployment rate is very high. It keeps increasing. So you see, this is one of the reasons why Naira kept losing to USD. And that again, inflation rate. Inflation rate is the purchasing power of a currency. Okay. So with time, inflation is actually on the rise. So normally every currency is actually losing value with time because inflation rate is something that you cannot stop. You understand? But in Nigeria, inflation rate has been on a crazy high. See how it has been flying. The percentage increase has more than a lot of cryptocurrency itself. Another thing is central bank policy. Another thing is trade balance. Trade balance is something similar to GDP. But trade balance is more like import and export trade balance. Then another thing is government stability and policies. Government bodies actually have policies that actually affect these things. Like for example, now this government now can come. Okay, see what happened before they were not floating naira, right? They were not actually floating it on the normal exchange. There was bank rates and there was black market rates. So the bank rates was kind of like such a way controlling the price of everything and everything. You understand? But when this new government came in, they said no, he doesn't want to do that nonsense. He wants to free float everything. Brought a new policy, and what happened? It started rising. There was subsidy before. Subsidy brought down the prices of lots of things, which in turn brought down the rate of inflation because if the cost of fuel is lower in the country, we need fuel for everything to buy food. People that are selling things in the market, they go to the village to buy it. They pay transport. So if transport is cheap, cost of things are going to be cheap. Farmers, their equipments, they use fuel to fuel it. Okay, people that actually ship in fertilizers and all those things from other countries, you know, all these things actually run on diesel and fuel. All these ships and everything, they run on crude oil and stuff like that. So with subsidy, the cost of these things was lower, and the cost of food, other things in the country were also lower too. Do you understand? So inflation rate was smaller, was lower because of the cost of fuel was lower. But as they remove subsidy now, fuel rose from 300 and something to I think 1,000 something. What happened? Things became more difficult. Indomie that was like how much? 7,000 naira now turned to like about 15, 18, 20,000 naira. Everybody started complaining. Bag of rice now reached I usually also 100K or so. I don't know. You understand? So you see it now, all these things that you observe in the news, all these things you see everywhere around you. Countries hard, this one is happening, this thing is expensive, everything is Forex. And that is what you're here learning. That is what we are doing. That is what we are doing. That's Forex. So you see it's government policies. And that thing again is geopolitical events and global sentiments. Just geopolitical events are things that I'm coming, just give me a second, please. Okay. Geopolitical events are things like you see this US and EU tariff negotiation. All these things that Trump is giving this one 30% tariff, giving this one 70% tariff, 80% tariffs, and things like that. Those things can actually not actually not can would actually affect the value of a country's currency. So let's say for example now, before, let me give you an example. We used to buy iPhone. iPhones are $1,000 when they come out. All right, $1,000. But then Trump now put a tariff of 15% on Nigeria, right? So like anything US selling to Nigeria, Nigerians are going to pay 15% extra. This iPhone is not going to be $1,000 again. If you're buying from Nigeria, it's 1,150 because that 15% tariff is going to enter. So if Trump now decides to give it up to 80% tariff, are you seeing this? This is almost double the price. You understand? So that means people have to spend more buying that same goods. And that is going to reduce the amount of money in the hands of Nigerians because we are sending more of our money to US. And that is further weaken the naira. Do you understand? So you see all these small, small things. You see the Trump tariff, Trump do this one, this one. All these things are like strategic things. They're trying to actually use to strengthen their currency. They're trying to actually use to strengthen their own economies. Even wars too. Governments fund wars for their own selfish benefits. Okay. One of this thing is there's this particular war. Okay, China actually won it actually. I think so. No, China never won it actually. Is this wait, I'm just give me a second, let me check. Is it Taiwan? Yes. Who are the biggest man? Okay. Yeah, Taiwan. Yeah, Taiwan is, I think they're independent right now, and they're the biggest manufacturers of chips in the world. They are very, very close to China. China has been eyeing that Taiwan since they want to take over Taiwan so they can actually have control over that particular thing. See, sometimes here you hear that Trump, he banned Huawei. They wanted to ban TikTok because the amount of money that these companies are making from US is much. And the more the people in the country spend money importing these things, you understand? Okay, so they have to like balance their import and their export. So when they notice that this is like this one, like they'll go and increase interest rate, they're going to do the interest rate like this. They notice that people have more money in their hands, they will increase interest rates. They'll do this one. If it's like this, they will reduce this one. If it's like this, they're going to increase. They notice that people are buying more of these goods. They're going to increase tariffs on those particular goods to discourage people from buying those things. So people can actually focus on buying the homemade um version of that particular good. You understand? And stuff like that. This is how economies manage the value of their currency. So once you see a currency going up or going down, it's one of these things. And that thing again is foreign investment and capital flow. Now in what do you call it? Dubai, they have lots of foreign investors because Dubai has almost no tax. Their tax is almost nothing. Very, very tiny. In US, on the other hand, their tax is up to like 45%. Are you seeing this? So that means if you are a business owner and you make $1 million profits, all right, the government will take 45% of that and will leave you with only $550,000 profit. So all these footballers that are making 400K per week, the government is taking almost half of that. But on the other hand, in what they call it, Dubai, if you make $1 million, you're getting up to like $950,000, almost everything. So you see that this thing is not really going to encourage foreign investors that much. So in what they call it, Dubai, a lot of persons are running there to go and invest, to buy and create their business there, to buy their own houses and all of those things because of the system over there. And then the more money that enters the particular country, the more foreign currency that enter the particular currency country, the more investments, all right, the more people want to enter the country, tourists. And as tourists are actually also entering too. So you understand. So basically, your currency is an indication of how good the economy actually is. Now, there's some currencies like Japanese yen. I know you say, oh, Japanese yen does not have good value, and also China. Chinese yuan too does not actually have good value. But if you look at these particular currencies, you know, it's not now that they lost the value. It was before, all right, before since. But at the moment, the economy is very, very strong. And that's why, if you notice, it's constantly dragging with US, USD JPY. Like sometimes JPY will be dragging USD dragging it very well. Sometimes US will be dragging it and everything because the economies are doing very well right now at the moment. You understand? But Nigeria, you see, so right now we are consolidating, shows like we are doing a couple of things, right? If we start pulling down, that means Nigerian is gaining strength. And Nigerian will be gaining strength because of one of this or multiple combination of this. So if you can actually increase the employment rates, all right, build factories that are producing things that the world wants from us, things we can export to them, that's going to boost our GDP. And while boosting our GDP is also going to increase the employment rates because more persons will need to work in those factories, and those persons are going to be employed. Do you understand? Right? If you can actually find a way now to make our factories in the country work and cut all this corruption of, all this cabal sitting on this thing and trying to frustrate Dangote and his refinery, and if you can stop everything and cut it very well, the price of fuel can drop from 900 and something to like 400 and something. If fuel drops from 900 and something to 400 and something, the prices of goods will decrease drastically, at least by 40%. So Indomie you're buying 15,000 naira will drop to like 10,000 naira. This thing you're buying, this amount will drop. Even phones, prices of phones, everything will drop. Do you understand? That means inflation rates will reduce. All right, now you're going to have more purchasing power. Okay. Then if government sets more policies, make the country safer to encourage people from diaspora. See all these ones that people buy land. When they buy land finish, 2 years after, Sanwo-Olu can start demolishing the land. They say it's government land. People in diaspora, their money will just go like that. You understand? Things like that. If government can stop all this and create a transparent system and encourage foreign investors, more persons will bring in money to the country. Foreign investment and capital flow. Now you'll further gain more strength. And that thing again is these politicians that are stealing money and taking the money outside the country to go and buy um properties. They are further weakening our currency. Now, if they put this money in this country, there's something I used to actually say, something about Dubai, yeah. When I went to Dubai, I noticed that there was this competition of tourist attraction. Basically, everything in Dubai, yeah, is not free, right? You can go to a place and it's just garden, different types of flowers, all right? Different types of flowers you've never seen in your life. Oh. Designs carved in the shape of human being, carved like this, like that. Very, very fine. The place looks so, if you take pictures there and you post on social media, and those pictures will It'll give you so many likes. All right. And it can cost just $8 entrance fee. Just $8. Now you can go to a particular pool, infinity pool, at a particular location, very, very sharp, fine, with all these slides, water boats, dolphins, stuff like that. Very, very fine. You won't play with dolphins and everything. That one, the first one I said $8. The next one I said is maybe $12. You can go to another one again. This one now can be sport cars. You hire sport cars for a day. Not even a day, itself, 2 hours. That one can be $45 based on the car you're driving for just 2 hours. Or let's say, this is so small, let's say $145. Do you understand? So like everybody has something. Now, these things are owned by people. They understand the fact that if you steal money, money will lose value. If you store money somewhere, it will spoil. If you take money out of the country, it's useless because the government can just go and impound the money there. I know how much foreign governments have seized from, I cannot even count it, from Nigeria politicians. So instead of them to take this money outside, they use this money to invest into their country. Imagine every single politician adopt this particular mentality. And in Lagos, there are different sites like these tourist attractions being built every time. I've seen some very good ones that are very nice. I think Wiki tried. He built Pleasure Park in Port Harcourt. Pleasure Park is good, at least compared to other states that don't really have anything. There's also Oak Park too in Port Harcourt too. That one's also good too. And things like that, zoos, in Ekiti, we have places like Idori Hill, we have Ikogosi Warm Spring, but these places are not up to the standard of, you know, tourists wanting to come there. You understand? If this is actually built and done very, very nicely and everything, people want to fly in from diaspora to Nigeria to come and visit these tourist attractions. And the cost of living in Nigeria is cheaper compared to there in US. So that means they will be coming here with diaspora money. And that is going to boost our currency because they are coming in with Nigerian money. So these are the things that, if done properly, would boost our economy. These are the things that are going to make Naira gain strength. And if all this is actually done, within the next like 2, 3 years, this thing can drop from 1,250 or sorry, 1,5 something to like maybe 900 or 800. Do you understand? So that is just what Forex actually is. Now, all these things are listed here. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about Forex fundamental news. All these things are listed here. There are Forex fundamental news that comes out every single month that indicates the difference between the interest rate last month and the interest rate this month. Difference between GDP last month and the GDP this month. The difference between employment rate last month and employment rate this month. I'm going to talk about those ones on the 11 a.m. session tomorrow. If you have not gone through the recordings of the sessions, I'm going to drop them after this session. Go through all of them one by one so you'll be prepared for our live session tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining the Go Live session. If you got value, drop some value on the group chat and see you tomorrow by 11 a.m. Bye.